It's Monday, December 21st, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. Don't let your guard down during the holiday season. That's the plea to residents and shoppers alike, as well as business operators and hoteliers, given the COVID-19 environment and in the lead up to the Christmas and New Year holidays. Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic made the appeal last night in an address to the nation on the latest COVID-19 update, announcing that the country had recorded 14 new cases of the virus in a 48-hour period and 46 cases so far in the month of December alone. The minister urged the public to follow the COVID-19 protocols to ensure there is no local or community spread, especially during the Yuletide season.
To date, Barbados has managed its encounter and experience with COVID-19 very well, but it takes only one slip or mishap to create an unsavory situation. While the majority of Barbadians and visitors have complied with the regulations and protocols, there have been some who have deliberately chosen not to do so. This small minority remains a large threat to us all, and I implore you to let caution and common sense prevail. Do not overdo in your preparations this week. Business operators, do not force more people into your stores simply because you need the business. Shoppers, do not remove your mask or force yourself into crowded situations merely to get that curtain rod or the perfect cut of pork, Bajan lamb, or beef. Your family would appreciate it more if you are safe and well on Christmas Day and into the New Year.
He also made this appeal to hoteliers.
I want to say a special word to hoteliers. Tourism is your business, and we need you to play your part, but in more ways than one. Whilst you have attracted and welcomed visitors to our shores, please pull your weight and make sure they respect and adhere to our protocols. The Ministry of Health and Wellness cannot have eyes and ears everywhere. We need you as partners to pull your weight to ensure minimal, if not zero, breaches of our protocol regulations. Quarantine is quarantine. There is nothing ambiguous about the word. Persons who are in quarantine should remain in quarantine until the relevant authority says otherwise. Hotel workers, similarly, if you see something, please say something.
Now, of the 14 COVID-19 cases recorded, 2 Barbadians and 6 visitors tested positive on Thursday, while a Barbadian and 5 visitors, including 2 children, ages 3 and 11, and a 30-year-old woman who came into contact with a known case, tested positive on Friday. The country now has on record 321 COVID-19 cases, with 33 people in isolation. Minister Bostic made it clear the country had no community spread at this time.
As we get set to commence this week of Christmas preparations, I urge each of you to be on your guard. Already, in the past 24 hours, we have heard of 8 new cases. And as Minister of Health and Wellness, I have the authority now to notify you that already today, we have confirmed 6 additional cases. 3 of these involving a single non-Barbadian family. There are potential developments related to that particular series of screenings, and these will be relayed to you if the situation warrants. What this tells us, ladies and gentlemen, is that COVID-19 is under control in Barbados, but it has not been eradicated. Indeed, COVID-19 has not been eradicated anywhere in the world. It is still a global pandemic. We do not have community spread in Barbados, and our number of cases per capita is quite low when compared to other countries in the region, the hemisphere, and the international community.
The minister said the next 8 to 12 weeks are expected to be a testing time for the country, but he was confident the island would continue to successfully face any challenge. He said with the opening of the country's borders to air and cruise traffic and the accompanying increase in visitor arrivals for the winter tourist season, it is expected that surveillance and testing will pick up more cases. Meanwhile, Barbados is keeping a close eye on COVID-19 developments in the UK, where a new, more infectious coronavirus strain has been detected. Health officials say the strain is up to 70% more transmissible, but there is no evidence that it is more deadly. The situation has led to the introduction of a fresh round of restrictions in the country, including an emergency lockdown in London. In a statement over the weekend on the development, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said there was no need for panic as Barbados has prepared for this crisis. She said government has put in the infrastructure and the equipment at Harrison's Point and at the Best Dos Santos laboratory and expanded the number of persons doing testing and contact tracing. She added that systems are also in place to deal with high unemployment and declining visitor revenue to support the private sector and in particular the tourism sector, as well as a significantly expanded public sector capital works program and COVID-19 relief program. The Prime Minister said that the Barbados model has been structured to deal with these unfortunate developments overseas, and government continues to plan and continuously review its actions. Some businesses are reporting slow but steady business as residents prepare for the holiday season. A Barbados Today team took to the streets of the city yesterday. At Woolworth, Managing Director Martin Bryan said in-store traffic was not as heavy as in previous years, but the numbers have been increasing noticeably in recent days.
The season so far has the start of December started off kind of slow, but in the last couple of days we've definitely seen a pickup. I think that has a lot to do with government workers being paid, any bonuses being paid out as well, monthly people being paid. So the last day or two, we've definitely seen a good uptake in business, for sure.
What has been the most popular product you've had so far playing off the shelves?
Well, I won't say there's a popular product as per se, but the popular categories leading into today were certainly our Christmas department, Christmas lights, Christmas decorations, Christmas trees, also into the toys. Our clothing this year has been a hit, and we've had some very good reception of our clothing, kids' clothing, boys and girls especially. We also had some fantastic deals in our linens department, which is still going on.
Over on Broad Street, Mark Clark, location manager at Cape Shepherd, reported much of the same.
Well, the traffic is nothing like last year, I would say. We usually get the last 3 days to Christmas. You will see an influx of customers, but even though it will be an influx, I know it will be less than last year. But we are prepared. We have everything in store. We have the merchandise here. We have our cashiers and our protocols. So we're just looking forward and prepared for anything that's coming our way.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from our regional neighbors now, anyone wishing to travel to Trinidad and Tobago will still be required to produce a negative PCR test before entering the country, despite being vaccinated against COVID-19. Word of this from Health Minister Terence Dayal Singh, who said the policy decision was made following talks with regional and other health officials.
The position we have come up with based on the current available science, and I want to repeat the word, everything we say this morning is based on current evidence. Things can change as more data comes in, as more evidence comes in. So what we are saying now is based on what we know now. It is going to be a step-by-step approach. The position is that we are still going to require anyone coming into Trinidad and Tobago to still provide us with a PCR test. That is a policy position. Both the CMO and Professor Carrington will explain the science behind it. But I am just announcing that the policy position of a PCR test, regardless of your immunization status, remains the same.
And finally, after months of wrangling, U.S. lawmakers have agreed to a $900 billion COVID-19 relief package, including money for businesses and unemployment programs. More in this Reuters TV report.
More help is on the way.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Sunday evening that a deal had finally been reached on a $900 billion package to provide the first new aid in months to an economy hammered by the coronavirus pandemic.
Moments ago, in consultation with our committees, the 4 leaders of the Senate and the House finalized an agreement. There will be another major rescue package for the American people. As our citizens continue battling this coronavirus this holiday season, they will not be fighting alone.
Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the package should have enough support to pass both chambers of Congress. The package would be the second largest economic stimulus in U.S. history, following the $2.3 trillion aid package passed in March. The new package would give $600 direct payments to individuals, boost unemployment payments by $300 a week, and give hundreds of billions of dollars in additional aid to small businesses. Sources said it would also provide $25 billion for rental assistance. The bill leaves out 2 of the most contentious elements in the negotiations: legal protections for businesses from coronavirus lawsuits, which had been sought by Republicans, and the substantial aid for state and local governments sought by Democrats.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.